What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Beyond Click and Cliff. This is a podcast where you can listen while you do your stuff at your work, your lawn mowing, cleaning the house, washing the dishes, mowing the yard, or just have something to listen to in the background. Hope I make you smile, laugh. Hope I don't make you cry, but if I do, I apologize. But anyway, this is what this is all about. I do apologize. I am on my phone trying to do this podcast. I guess there's been some crackling noises in my mic on my last videos, and I think it's my mic. I think I'm going to have to probably get a new one, but I ain't got one yet. So I'm using my phone, so it may be a little sluggish or laggy. If I do, I apologize for that. But hopefully, you're not supposed to be watching me anyway. You're supposed to be doing stuff and having me on in the background anyway. So, anyway, I want to tell you about some circumstances I put myself in. I don't know, when I was just starting out in the fire service, I always, we worked a 24 rolling schedule kind of deal, or when I first started, it was like, I don't know, something like that. 24, you're on off one day, work one day, whatever, and then you also got time. You get called out when you're off, you come in. Anyway, there's one day that I wasn't at the fire department. I was helping a friend of mine. They had a big old dairy farm. And I grew up on a farm, so I knew what I was doing, but he wanted some help, and he was working cattle is what he was doing. I said, yeah, I come out there and help you. Not a big deal. And if y'all know about dairy farms, they got holding pens, but they move them all the time. At least these guys did, because they didn't want one ground to be all muddy and all that all the time. They try to move it around, but anyway, there's times, and this one hurt, and that's what I'm going to title this podcast. This one hurt. Back then I was more agile. I've always been a husky guy, but I never was a skinny guy, but I was never this big either. This happened later in life. Different podcast. But anyway, we were chasing cows and stuff, and if you run in a lane that you're not for sure what's out there, things could happen. This is what happened. I stepped in a post hole that wasn't filled in. It hurt my feet. I was running. My foot went in there, and I heard a pop, and I went down. My friend comes over there, and his sister's like, "Oh my goodness, yeah, it hurt." We got to I hobbled to the house, and my ankle already swelled up like a balloon. They take these scissors, and they were cutting the boot off of me. I wore those muck boots that goes to your knees, rubber boots. I just bought them too. I just bought them because I always wanted a pair just for even around the house. If it rained or snowed or something, I could just sneak right in. Well, my right ankle, they had a cut, and like I said, my ankle's already big, so I had to cut, tear, and pull it off. And it was the most painful thing in the world. Got it out, and my ankle just went whew, like dang. And I couldn't. It hurt. I went to the doctor. Didn't break it. It was just a bad sprain, and I had to call in from work for a week. I was off for a week. You imagine me at that time, mobile, always on the move, always doing something, having to sit down for a week. It was horrible. I was at the house. I was on the couch, in the chair with my ankle propped up, watching. The time sucked, bad time. And I'm like, oh, and I try to get brave. I'm gonna see if I can walk on it. Get up, oh, in some pain, start crying like a baby. I sat back down. for a week. But finally, gradually, I got better. I was able to take this stupid ankle thing off. They put me in a walking boot kind of thing to keep, I don't know, man, but I think I'd rather broke my ankle or put my finger in a grinder than do that. That thing was painful. Very painful. Finally got back to work and anyway, and then they called me back. My friends did. They checked on me. They didn't just say, "Well, crap," They didn't check on me at all. They checked on me. They came over, brought me food and stuff, and apologized. And it's not their fault. I mean, you work on a farm. You're liable to get hurt somewhere. You're working with live animals too. So I mean, don't tell them what their stuff. Cows ain't the smartest thing in the world. So, but I was chasing a calf, and trying to get him into the pens. The thing wouldn't go in the pen. So anyway, they came back, got better, and they asked me, "Hey, you want to come help me again?" Well, of course I will. Of course, they're my friends. I help my friends out as much as I can. Walked in there and did that, and good Lord, I did it again. Not this ankle, my left ankle. But it wasn't as bad. I ran and I just turned it. I said, man. But that time I didn't have to take off work. So, but yeah, that one hurt a bunch. Have y'all ever been hurt like that where you're laid up for a week? You can't really do much. It sucks. And at that time there was nothing on during the day. We had basic cable TV, and you had either talk shows or soap operas or the news, and hardly anything on movie channels. Of course, I didn't have cable. Like, I only had the basic, like the local channels on my TV at that time, because I didn't watch much TV back then. I was always out doing something. But I got laid up, and then that's where I was, trying to watch that stuff. I watched some talk shows that was weird. Jerry Springer. That was kind of dumb. I think that was all set up, scripted. They all are, I think. Murray Povich show, you are not the father. Anyway, and I tried soap operas, and I couldn't get into that. My mom was, but not me. I don't know. But, you had TBS. I mean, they did have a little bit of movies on, but usually something I didn't care to watch. I did watch, the news at noon and see what the weather's going to do, what's going on in the world that day, and all that stuff. But usually, that was about it. But yeah, that's pretty. I mean, it just sucked. And then food, my wife would be at work, so I had to. Before she would go to work, she'd put me, my crutches there by the wall, and have me some snack food there. A big jar of of tea, some Cheez-Its, those crackers and cheese he dip in. To hold me over till she got home, and she would cook dinner and all that stuff, and I would hobble to the bathroom when I had to go with the crutches, and that was a pain in the butt. Just all the time, kind of weirdness. But yeah. Anyway, guys, like I said, this may be a shorter podcast than I usually do until I get my mic fixed. So it may be around 10 minutes. So that's where we are right now. So I'm going to leave this one with you all today. If you like it, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you ain't subscribed. Be good to one another. Open the door. Always be nice. Do unto others that you want to do yourself. Be somebody's light and somebody's darkest cloud. Guys, until the next time. Bye-bye.